Hi guys, it's Michelle with Embellish the Season. Thanks so much for watching my pre-recorded video. I am gonna go ahead today and make a gingerbread teapot for you guys. I'm gonna share with you some of my supplies and then we'll get started. So I had a bunch of these ceramic teapots that I had in my craft stash. So I went ahead and prepped one by painting it and then also doing some gap and crack inside. So gap and crack is that foam filler. If you're not familiar, it is something you can find in the hardware store or even at Walmart, and it's very inexpensive and it's great as a styrofoam if you don't know about it. So I did do that, and then I painted it here with the color. I did two things. I actually spray painted it and I didn't care for the finish, so I came back over from the spray paint, which was similar, and I just did a coat of this raw sienna, and this you can pick up at your craft store or probably Walmart, something similar. That's the color, so it looks kind of gingerbreadish. So this is what it looked like, and then this is where I'm at right now. So this is the one we're going to work on, and I'm going to go ahead and point you down a little bit right here. All right, so I have my little teapot that I'm going to work on, and I have some pre-made spackle, and this is just some lightweight spackle, any brand will do, and some acrylic paint. Mix it together. It's the typical little whipped cream mix that everyone does. So I pre-made this ahead of time, but before I do that, I'm gonna actually use a little stencil here. So my stencil, these are reusable stencils, and I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling on my pot just to give it a little design, and I'm going to use some chalk paste. So some of these are already ready to go, so anything you can see through is where the design's going to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of put some of these on here, and I'm going to use my chalk paste, and this is just an easy way to add a little bit of design to your project. Let me put my glasses on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use a squeegee, and I am just going to give a few snowflakes here, and I just got a big boo-boo. All right, so my little design, I'm gonna fix it, but I had a little bit of a blob, but we can fix that real quick. You gotta love when you get that happen, but really quick. I'm just gonna take a little wipey and clean up my little mess here. I should be okay to just clean it up. I'm using a little wipe just to kind of clean up this little spot. The reason that happened was because I did not have my stencil all the way down. All right, so I'm gonna come around and I'll add another one. I have a few different ones, and we can always add, we're gonna add some little things on here. So I'm just gonna add my little thingy here. Sometimes you get a little bleed, but I could fix it with a little paint as well. And I'm going to add little peppermints and stuff on there. So you just want to make sure that you don't have any bubbles. That's pretty much what happened. And I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it is on here. Sometimes if you get the tiniest little bubble underneath, it will create a little bleed. Let's see, did I get a bleed on this one? A little bit, but not bad. So you can see I'm just putting little snowflakes on here, and it's just to, like I said, it's just to kind of dress up my teapot a little bit. I don't have to put too many on here. I'm just gonna put one here, and these are all different ones, so not mandatory. You could do polka dots, but I thought it would be cute to have little snowflakes on here. So I'm just putting a little chalk paste on here. Okay. All right, that one, and then I'll do one more, and then we'll be good to go. So you just can put these little tiny snowflakes on here, and I'll do one more right here. And we're gonna dress this up so you're not really gonna even see too much, but stencils are fun because you can put them on pretty much anything on here. All right, and I'm going to just go ahead, and I'm just trying to put this on here. Okay. All right. All right, so now we just put a few little snowflakes on here, and now I'm going to go ahead, let that dry, and I am just gonna do a little whipped cream on top here. And I've got my lightweight spackle. So I'm gonna do like a little drip. This one's a little pre-made. Let's see, get my little. So I'm just going to do like a little drip on here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a gingerbread junkie. I love all gingerbread things. So it's never too early to gingerbread for me. Okay, so I'm just kind of doing a little up and down kind of thing, and on here. There's that. So now I've got like my little teapot here, and now what I want to do is I'm going to add a few little things before it dries. So I've got a little sprinkle mix. This one is Gingerbread Land, and then I have some other little things. So I'm going to just use some of these. I am going to use a tweezer just because it's easier to pick up, and then they won't fall over. So I've got a little bit in here, and I'm just going to use my tweezer, and I'm going to just go ahead and start placing some of these on here. Some are a little bigger, some are, I'm just going to put some random little peppermints and stuff like that. All right. On here. Anything with peppermint and gingerbread is my thing. All right, and then I have these little, they look like little confetti dots, and I'm just gonna kind of prop them into. You can use your wax pen. I'm just gonna use my little tweezer here. They're kind of like, they have little teeth, so I can kind of get them in there. I learned the hard way that you can't just throw them on because they won't stick. So, all right. Whoops. Okay, so we've got some of these, and not sure if anyone's ever seen these little teapots, but they are super duper cute to craft with. I haven't really used them. I'm going to add a little green on here. Now I spray painted the top of the gap and crack, but you don't really have to do that. If you want to spray ahead of time your surface. It's just that I had already filled it, and so I sprayed it all together. But actually it's not a bad idea because it kind of all blends then, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just putting in a few of these little sprinkle guys, and then we're going to put some little figures and stuff on here to make the top. And you can put, you know, get as fancy or as simple as you want, but the more is better all the time for me. I love all the little things you can put in these teapots and stuff. So I'm just like kind of working them in here, and I like to add a little green because it just kind of gives it a little color boost on here. Okay. All right. And this is just like a little time consuming, but it's worth it in the end. All right, so I got a couple of more spots. I'll add a few more little sprinkles and we'll be good to go on here. These teapots, you can do so many things. I'm going to do a Halloween one. And again, I had it in my craft stash, but if you go online and maybe Google, maybe Amazon has them now, I'm not sure. But anyway, so here we are so far. And then what I'm going to do is come in to the center of my, the centers of these little snowflakes I did. And I'm going to add in some little peppermints. I'm just going to kind of hot glue those on. So these are just little tiny peppermints, and I'm just going to put them in the center where I did the little snowflakes just to decorate the outside. But you could also make a little face on these. That would be really cute. But I like doing these little dimensional things on here. And I'll do one more. So it's just kind of looks like a little house. All right. So we've got our little teapot guy here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to come in before I do put the whipped cream on top. These are these little figures, and I bought a bunch of these on Amazon last year or the year before. They come like in a packet, and I'm going to actually make them into a little pick because I'm going to have just like the boy, the girl, and then maybe the little tree. And I'm just going to kind of add those in, and then I'm going to fill them in with some spackle after. Let's move this out of the way. Let's see, let me grab my lollipop sticks. So these are little lollipop sticks. You can pick them up at the craft store. I happen to get these at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to move this a little closer, and then I'm going to just cut them so that I can use them as like inserts. So what I'm going to do is cut, this has like a little top. I'm just going to cut that off, and then I'm going to take some hot glue, and this is a good way to make little picks. I'm just going to put a little hot glue, and then I'm going to attach, and this way I'll be able to skewer it in, and then we'll cover it. You won't be seeing that. So I'm going to do that to all of them, and I'll do it to all of them, and then we'll be able to stick these in. Cut off the little top here. All right. And then I'll come in with one more. I pre-cut a bunch of these. All right. And then I'll come in with this one, and now I've got like these little guys. So you can see they're just on these little sticks. Okie doke. So now what I want to do is I want to put them in so that they're kind of like secured. So since this is foam, I can just pierce it like that. I put a little hole right there, and then I'm gonna put the little tree. So we gotta pick our front. I'm probably going to use this one as my front. So I'm going to just pierce that in, and I'm gonna add a little hot glue. And I don't have to go too deep because remember, I'm going to fill it with some whipped cream. So I have a little, we're gonna make just like a little scene. So I'm gonna just cut it a little smaller, and I'll pierce there. A little hot glue. This is just how I like to do it, but there's really no right or wrong way. This one needs a little longer. I cut my little stick too low, and so I'm gonna come back in so that at least I get a little bit of height on here. Okay, so far we're like this. You can make it as low as you want. I'm gonna put a lot of whipped cream, so I don't want them to be too low. But I love Gap and Crack. If you haven't tried Gap and Crack, it's so versatile. So it looks like that. So far, we're kind of like that. Okay, and then, and I kind of like just go with it as I'm making it. Now I'll just start to add some cute little stuff here. So I have the base, and now what I'll do is go ahead and I will just do my whipped cream. So I didn't put a tip in here, but I'm just gonna kind of go around it. I'm just gonna kind of make my own thick little it's a teapot, so I don't think there's really a right or wrong. You can just kind of create your own little texture. And I'm a very basic fake baker. I just like to make different things, so I don't really per se like. So I gave it a little height so that now it's like more stable and it's sticking out on top. So I'm just gonna fill in the bottom. But it's, my Gap and Crack is, I mean, not my Gap and Crack, my spackle is thick enough that it's not too watery. So I can give myself some peaks by just kind of like coming up, and it'll just kind of give it those little peaks if I want. Okay, all right. And I'm just gonna come in from the back to kind of just really nuzzle that in there. All right, so we've got our little teapot done. So now we're gonna add some more of those little sprinkles, and I can kind of drop these a little better because I'm even gonna put a little piece of chocolate that I had, and you can start just adding little goodies on here. And I can just start kind of adding on some things. And just kind of tap them in a little bit. But it's so simple, so cute. It's really fun. You can do whatever themes you want. So if you run into these, you can even do these with a real teapot, like at the store. If you see one, you can pick one up at your local home store. You could even do it on a tin teapot. And you know, you can spray paint those, or maybe you'll find a little Christmas one. I like to dig into my my own kitchen and dig out stuff too. So sometimes I'll have things that I don't really that I don't really use, and I'm like, oh, I think I'll just use this in my projects and stuff like that. So these are little pieces of chocolate, and I'm just kind of adding these in there. And then I might need to, and we'll put a little glitter on here too. So on here, and on here. All right. All right, so I'm just adding a few little this and that in here, and you can see it's so cute. I'm gonna add a few more little candies and stuff on here. All right, so I'm gonna add in a little tiny candy cane on here. Just kind of start adding these little things. I even have little cookies. These are just these little bits and pieces because it's just like a kitchen thing. This is where it gets super fun. I've got these mini gingerbread guys, and I'll just kind of peek those into the frosting here and there. They're so fun to kind of just play with. So you can see that you can just kind of add in. I've got another little cookie, and I'll just kind of have those in there so you can see they're just, it's just filling it up and kind of adding these little extras all around on here. There's that, and let's see what else I can dig out. I got some bigger pieces of peppermint I can put behind it, and I even have a little tree with a little, I could stick this in here too, why not? There's no rules on here. And let's see, got a little candy. So I'm just gonna kind of put a few of these little things on here. And I think it's cute. All right, so I'll add one more, put a larger peppermint back here, put another larger one in here, and I think we're good. And I'll add some glitter. Another little cookie. I think I'm going to glue this on her hand, this little cookie. Like she's holding a little cookie on here. All right, so it's super cute, super simple. I'm also going to, I don't care for this piece, don't like the way that looks, so I think I'll come in and just put a big peppermint up on top. It'll block the back a little. But these are cute for like tier trays and stuff. So this guy, I'm gonna add a little candy cane. So they're each holding something on here. So there's that. All right, and now I'm gonna add a little glitter. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is just some chunky glitter. And I'm going to just give it a good sprinkle. Everything's better with glitter. On here. And this was really simple to make. So again, you can just find yourself a little teapot, get your little cabochons, little sprinkles, grab those. And let's see. Anything else? I think we're good. I think I might add this little, I was thinking of adding it, but maybe not. Nah, I'm not gonna add it. All right, guys, so here's your cute little teapot, gingerbread teapot. It's so cute. We just kind of added some, this was a painted teapot, and we did just little snowflakes on it, and then this is some Gap and Crack inside, a little whipped cream, and some little figures, and there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me, and I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good day. Bye, friends.